Peace everyone, Unmask Art here, and welcome to another episode of the Drawing Journal. Today I am I'm playing with some copic markers. I'll probably bring in some colored pencils if I get to that point. But I'm just doing kind of a holographic cloth study. It has that shiny, weird color stuff. I came across a picture like this. Somebody had inspired me to do this. I came across a picture over on Reddit, and I thought that would be kind of interesting to try to recreate that shiny effect. It's kind of like foil, but then it has like this oil slick kind of color over it. So I thought it'd be fun and give me an opportunity to pull out my Copic markers again. Hello, Danny and Jame. Jame. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Lindy, good to see you. Yeah, I'm starting. I'm starting early. I was just sitting here anyway, and I was ready. And you know how I am. If I'm ready to do something, then I just start doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna do some coloring. You guys have any questions about anything? Let me know. Uh, I wasn't really sure what to do for today's drawing journal. I was kind of driving myself crazy over the weekend, and my wife crazy a little bit because I kept asking her, and she kept telling me to draw a butterfly, but I had no inspiration to draw a butterfly. So I went with this, but as far as topics go, not really sure what to talk about. Hope everybody had a good weekend. If you didn't notice, I did a little bit of a surprise live stream on Saturday. Even I didn't know it was happening until I did it. So if you happen to miss that, my apologies. But I was feeling inspired, and I've just been wanting to do some more pastel live tutorials for all of you lovely people. Good morning, Barbara, Andrea, JS, King Jonas. Good to see all of you. Yeah, I felt like I had a lot to say, but now I don't even know. that's how that's how some of these live streams go. I feel like I try to put a lot of thought into what I'm going to talk about, and then as soon as I hit go live, it's like completely forgot what I was going to talk about. I do want to quickly mention that I have started to put some work in on getting some merchandise, some t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, all of that stuff. So I have a link for that in the description if you guys want to help support the channel. You can do that by, buying a shirt or something that has my logo on it. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have a lot going on. I mean, I've just been, it's been hard to like put down the pencils, put down the markers, and not just continuously be working on something. It's been kind of surprising, even for me. It's been a long time. I feel like it's been a long time. I don't really know how long it's been, but I feel like it has been some time since I've really just felt so overwhelmingly inspired that I can't put a pencil down. I have to just keep drawing something and painting something, and I have projects all over my room right now that I'm trying to complete. When I saw the picture that I posted for this live stream, I was wondering, did you paint it, that skirt, and now you are doing the second time? Oh no, so when I make the thumbnails for my live streams, I just digitally do it. Like I use Photoshop to make those thumbnails, and I use whatever resources. So I have a reference photo for this, and all I did was make the reference photo look like it was on a piece of paper. I can do quite a bit of Photoshop stuff, so it's not really hard. I'm not drawing this for a second time. I'm drawing it for the first time. And I'm just blocking in the colors with my copic markers, my copic markers. And yeah, that's pretty much the plan for today. You know, for the drawing journals, it's usually not about what I'm working on most of the time. It's not a tutorial. For those of you who have been following my channel for some time, you know this, but if you're new to my channel, welcome. I see a few new names. Hello there, Sam. Good to see you. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. Could I do this in colored pencils? Yeah, you could totally do this in colored pencils. I'm using markers because it's easier to like block in the general color scheme that's happening here, and that's kind of my purpose right now. Just trying to block in the colors. No better way to say it than that. I'm trying not to miss your guys' questions. Oh, good morning, Marcy. How is my oil painting coming along? Oh, that's a fantastic question, Barbara. It's coming along really, really well. It's taking a lot longer than I anticipated. For those of you that don't know, I've been working on a secret oil painting project for the better part of 6 months now. It still has a long way to go. I thought, I don't know, like several months ago, I had anticipated that I would be done with it by the end of this month. And I work on it. I work on it every week. I do for several hours, and I'm just not rushing the process. You know, I'm not trying to get it done. I'm enjoying the work that I'm doing on it, and I really like the way that it's coming together. At this point, it is 100% covered. The panel that I'm working on is completely covered with oil paint, so there's no more panel showing through, which is a really good feeling. When you've been painting something for 6 months, you know, to finally have it completely covered. And it's gotten to a stage where it's all about just refining the details. So you guys know that I love that stage in any creation that I do. I love getting it to a point where I'm just like doing the tiniest little adjustments to get it exactly the way I envisioned. And that painting is right there. It's at that final stage. And the only person that knows what it looks like is my wife. So eventually I will share it. I'll make the video. I mean, I've been recording the process. It won't be a time lapse. Everything's in real time. It's not a tutorial or anything like that. I've kind of alluded to the scale of the project and in terms of not just it being a painting, but also like the difference in the video. Like, it's not going to be a video that I've created before, you know. It's going to be something a little different. And I've even talked about, like, I'm putting a lot of effort into this painting, and the funny thing is, I know it's just going to be one of those videos that my dedicated subscribers watch and appreciate, and that's going to be it. Spending 6 months on a project that won't really do anything in the grand scheme of my channel. That's how all of my personal projects are, I feel. Anytime anytime I do something that's just a project for myself, something original, it never does well in the grand scheme of YouTube. I don't know how that stuff works, but it never works out well for me. Um, did I show you guys? I don't know. I don't know if I did a drawing journal where I showed you guys Nugget. Let me grab Nugget really quick. So sculpture, the sculpture of Nugget, all painted and everything. And after the live stream, I obviously added a lot of details to him and textures and stuff. But he came out pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied considering it's my first sculpture. I mean, exactly what I envisioned Nugget to look like. I got him to look like. I think maybe if I were to repaint it, I'd probably not go black in the mouth. I'd probably just go with like a brown or something like that. But he came out really nice, and I even I never shared it, but I actually sculpted Noodle also, so I have both a sculpture of Nugget and Noodle. I'm not totally pleased with the paint job on this one, but I just did it really quick with my airbrush, and it cracked over here, which I found to be really uncharacteristic of the clay, and I didn't feel like fixing it. And then again, I went black with the mouth, and I'm not sure that was a good idea. But here's little Noodle, so I have sculpture of Nugget and Noodle now. Where to put these? Yeah, I agree, Andrea. Um, yeah, my wife got some enjoyment out of the sculpting live stream. All right, let's try to continue on here. Need a light blue color. These markers make it really easy to just quickly kind of block in some of these colors that would otherwise be really hard to replicate with colored pencils. Makes it a lot easier. I only colored this in like, I don't know, maybe for 20 minutes or something like that. So a lot of the work that I have done on it already, I did rather quickly, and it didn't take a lot of effort. Just a few markers, and that's about it. I don't have any of like the real values in. It's really like very non-contrasted at this point. I've only used one shade of gray, but there's a lot of darker values in there that I think what I'll probably end up doing is using colored pencils for most of the darker valued parts of the skirt, just because it's a lot easier. Oh, hey there, Kenny. Do I draw with my wife often? No, she's always at work during the week. You know, she leaves at like 7 in the morning. She doesn't get home until like sometimes as late as 6 at night, but most of the time it's around 5. So she's gone most of the day. She's always working, just like I am, just a different job. And usually when she comes home, she's not in the mood to do stuff like that. She just kind of wants to relax and then of course on the weekends we try to just do other stuff. And then I of course am constantly working even on the weekends. It's kind of like an ongoing joke is that I always say that I take the weekends off, but it's such a lie. Like, I mean, this past weekend is a perfect example. I literally worked all weekend. I worked all day Saturday, preparing for the stream that I did, and I worked all day yesterday. I edited a video, and with the narration and stuff, and that will go up. That video will go up on Wednesday. I finally, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got a new camera. The camera that you guys see, this is new, and it's so much better. It's such a much better camera than I was previously using. I don't even know if I have that camera close by or whatnot, but no. The camera that I was using before was just something that I had bought because I needed a camera to live stream with. That's essentially the only reason I had it. It was very, very cheap, and the picture quality, like, it wasn't too bad as like a live stream camera, because I mean it was, still an HD camera, and so it wasn't terrible for live streams, but it took awful videos. So like if I recorded a live stream and then I wanted to make a time lapse of a project or something that I had done, the video quality just wasn't up to my standards, and so I never really shared any of that, any of my like tutorials that I do over on Patreon. I've always wanted to record the live streams, and then just kind of turn it into a time lapse or a narrated tutorial or something like that. And I hadn't been able to do that because the camera was just so awful. And so Wednesday's video will be the first time that I actually used this camera to record. Oh well, I'm glad I could make your day a little bit better. Refresh. And have I considered streaming on Twitch? Well, actually, I have streamed on Twitch a couple of times, but only chess. I considered I considered doing what I do now, streaming on Twitch, but I have no audience on Twitch, so it never made sense to me to do that. I figured, my audience is here on YouTube. There's no reason for me to branch out any further. It just adds more work to my already never-ending list of things I already do. And I haven't even streamed chess in a really long time on Twitch. I got into it quite a bit, and I barely even play chess anymore. I only play a couple times a week. I've just kind of been focused on. I've been focused a little bit more on work recently, in particular, because my wife and I, we want to buy a house, and it's not going to be too easy to do that. And it's really hard to find a house in Poland and like the location and also the quality of it. And I don't know if we want to go the route of buying land and then building a house. That was kind of the original idea, and that's what I prefer to do a little bit. But I was actually thinking more along the lines that we'd just end up buying like a starter house, something that we can live in for the next 10 or 15 years while we work on our dream house. And so work is pretty important right now to focus on, to make that a reality. And hopefully we'll be able to do that this year. But it's proving to be quite difficult to find anything here in Poland that appeals to us. That is with it also being in our budget. So that makes things a little tricky, because I am also looking for a house in the United States, and there's a small potential of us moving to the United States. And living in Poland is great for many reasons, and one of the really great reasons living in Poland is that all the money that I make is worth a lot more here in Poland. To put it into perspective, the average income for Poles is, I don't know, it's right around like $1,200 a month, which converts to about 4,000 zloty. And I make 3 times that. So when you convert it here, it's really great, making 3 times the average. But you take that to America and you're just poor. And on top of that, if we move to America, my wife can't work. So it really throws a huge wrench into the gears of what I've been able to accomplish here. And so it just makes it a little stressful, I guess. So it's been easier for me to concentrate on work and just producing content, and hopefully I'll eventually catch a bit of a break. But I don't put my money on it, so. Oh, hello, Kathy. And Anna, good to see you. What else you guys want to talk about today? I feel like I'm just kind of rambling on. Why would Anna not be able to work in the U.S. because she's not a citizen? Yeah, so when we move to the United States, she'll have to apply for a work visa or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it wouldn't be legal for her to work there. Even her being my wife doesn't make it legal. Not to mention, I have a friend whose wife is Japanese, and she moved to America, and it is not easy. Now, I don't think that my wife is interested in becoming a U.S. citizen, and I'm not necessarily. I wouldn't push that on her in any way. Uh, but I know that the immigration system is complicated and expensive from my friend's experience and his his own story. So I that's another expense that I don't know anything about currently, but it's just another possible curveball that we'd have to deal with if we did move to America. There's so many things. There's so many things. I didn't think it'd be so difficult, but it is. Did I try to order the pastel mat yet? Oh yes, Helen, I did. I ordered 3 packs of the pastel mat because for each pack that I bought, it was like 11 pounds cheaper or 11 euro. It was like 11 or 12 euro cheaper for each pack. And so I went all out and I spent like 130 euro or something like that on pastel mat. Um, and the shipping was actually I don't remember the shipping. I'm trying to even think. The shipping was I think right around 10 or 15 euro or something like that. So not bad at all. Yeah, so thank you for that online store for the pastel mat. That's yeah, that's a money saver for sure. I wish I would have known it some time ago. I've spent so much money on pastel mat, it's ridiculous. Because I mean, I use so much of it through all my tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm surprised they can even make any money selling pastel mat that cheap. But it's good for me. Good for me. These two sections of the skirt look like an absolute nightmare for me to even attempt. I just I don't want anything to do with those sections. They're insanely complicated because they're just a bunch of really thin lines that it's not going to be easy to do. That's why I'm leaving like those 2 parts white because they're so difficult. I need like a light pinkish color. Any plans for the next working stream? Ah, goodness, Kenny, I've been wanting to. I've been wanting to do another working stream, but Wednesdays have been working on my oil painting, which is a secret, as you guys know. And Fridays have been working on my oil painting. Sometimes Wednesday has been just like a catch-up day where I edit video or I write scripts or whatnot, just all kinds of different stuff. And so it's been really, really tough having a project to do as a working stream. And to be honest with you, I actually don't have a current project right now that I could do as a working stream, because the only project that I have is the painting, and that's it. Aside from that, I don't have any other side projects going on. Last Wednesday, what did I do last Wednesday? I don't even remember what I did last Wednesday. I can barely remember what I did Friday or anything. Um, it's the days just go by so fast. It's scary how fast they go by. It's beyond scary. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, no working streams in the foreseeable future just yet. I really wish that there was something I could do, but my main focus right now, I have a pastel course that I need to do. Uh, it's going to be a single project course. It's been this idea that I've talked about before, but instead of a course like the intro courses are out, and I don't think there's any improvements that I need to make beyond that. It gets you kind of introduced to the medium and sets you up to do some of your own projects. The and then I want to do like a single project course for pastels, but something with a much more complexity. So it's meant to be after you finish the intro course, or if you're kind of like intermediate feeling with pastels and you want to like incorporate pencils more or something along those lines. That's what that goal is. That's what that goal is. So I have a project, I have the script, I have everything. Really, all I need to do is dedicate probably like 8 hours to just setting up and doing the project, recording all the videos, and getting it done in like a single day. Which I make it sound like it's possible to do in a single day, but realistically, it'd be really hard to do in one day. But I wanted to get that out by the end of this month, which isn't going to happen. So many things have just kind of been piling on. But I've gotten into a really good groove, and I think this Wednesday I'm going to try. I'm going to just wake up, and I might even set up the day before so that I can just be ready. Um, and then if I can get it done in a day, then all I'll have to do is edit the million hours of footage, and I'll have another course on my website. Because what my goal is to, by the end of the year, I want to have a pastel portrait course. So many people have been asking me for it, and or asking me to do like a pastel portrait tutorial. And over on Patreon, we're working on a hand right now, trying to introduce working with skin colors and the techniques that I'll be using in the course and whatnot. But yeah, it's I have so many ideas like that just come at me all at once that it's really hard to even navigate my own thought process. because I'm always like thinking of something else to do, and it's just like an endless backlog of ideas, and all of them seem really good or really fun to do, but I never get to them. Let's see. When I say script, what am I referring to? When I do a project, I map it out in a Word document. So especially a course that I make for my website, I know everything I'm going to say in the course, with the exception of when I'm working live. So when I'm actually creating the image, I'm talking through my mindset and all of that off script, but I break it up kind of like into chapters, and I write out like what I'm doing or what I'm going to do, and so it's what I do with my videos also. I do a lot of writing actually. I do quite a bit of writing. That's so a script. It's literally a script. Did I bake the face sculpture in Skull? I did bake the face. Let me grab that really quick. So this is the face that I sculpted. This is the first time that I tried sculpting a face. It's not perfect. There's certainly a lot of room for improvement. For one, I think the eyes are a bit small, maybe. Symmetry is off. Not a whole lot. The bottom lip, or the bottom part of this lip is down a little bit further. The nostrils aren't the same size. But what I'm most pleased with is the profile. I feel like I got the profile down really good. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. I just, grabbed some clay and started making a face. It's really hard to make things smooth, but I'm getting better at it. And then one of the, with this particular face, what I did is I just balled up some clay and made it into like a small marble. I baked it and then I shoved it in there for eyes so that I could work the eyelids without mushing the actual eyeball. So that gave me the idea. It gave me the idea to make eyes. So I posted some of these, and I just tried testing out like different techniques. This is a green eye, and I even gave it some veins and stuff. It looks pretty good. And this is a blue eye. So I started creating some eyes, and I'm using clear nail polish to make them really shiny and kind of realistic looking. And I dig out the iris. I dig it out, and I want to drip the nail polish down there and create a little bit of a dome so it actually looks like an eye. But the problem is every time it dries, it just goes flat. No matter how much I drip in there, it just ends up going flat. So the nail polish isn't really working all that well. The irises just don't work. And then to test it out, I sculpted this really hideous face. So I actually used some of my pre-baked eyes and just mushed it in there. And I didn't put a lot of effort into this face. As you can see, it's far less realistic than this face. It's also significantly smaller. I didn't make the eyes big enough, and I just wanted to see how they worked. But you probably can't tell, but like I said, the dome of the iris is really flat, and it actually doesn't look that nice, so it's kind of junk. And I painted the skin. I just grabbed a light tan color and painted it really quick. Yeah, so I'm pretty much out of clay, so I had to order some more. So I'm waiting on more clay to show up before I do any more sculpting. But I have a lot of fun with it. Sculpting has kind of an inherently satisfying feel about it, because it's, like working with something with your hands. There's just something kind of relaxing about it, like a stress ball or something. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that. Yeah, I realize the faces aren't perfectly symmetrical, but when you're sculpting a face, there has to be enough symmetry to convince you that it's right. Most of the asymmetrical features about an individual are very unnoticeable. They're extremely subtle. And so, I sculpted this face really small, and I'm pleased with it considering it's the first face I've ever sculpted. Is it the face from my logo? No, my face is the face from the logo. The logo is my face. I didn't use somebody else's face. And I don't think this looks like me. I don't think this looks like me at all. Yeah, trust me, I've looked into eyes, creating eyes with epoxy for doing sculpting and stuff. That requires it requires more than just epoxy, like molds and time and money and a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't really. I was trying to do it as minimal as possible. Like, I didn't have to buy any tools to do sculpting because my wife had already been doing a lot of stuff with polymer clay, and so I didn't have to go out and buy a bunch of supplies or anything to start trying out sculpting. I just had to buy the clay and some clay softener and bacon bond. So there wasn't any real investment on my part to start trying sculpting, and I'd like to make my own epoxy eyes and whatnot, but the thing is, it requires more than I'm willing to get because I just don't have the space for all of the stuff that I would end up buying. And besides, it's fun, but it's not like something I'm going to do a lot of. So as of now, it's just going to be some fun little sculpture learning process until one day, and I have a real studio, and I have real space to do everything. It's a lot less about like my working space. Like I feel like I have enough room, but I've I have completely run out of room to put things that I use. Um, my colored pencils and my pastel pencils sit at my feet because there's no drawer in the house or in the flat to put them anywhere. Um, I moved like all of my stuff that was in one drawer that I have into the wardrobe. Like I just packed it full, just mushed it in there the best that I could. So there was literally no room in the wardrobe anymore. And I separated and put all the stuff in the two drawers that I have here. Um, all of my drawers on my art space is completely full. The old camera, the old camera that I was using, I don't even have a place to put that old camera. um, so it's yeah, I'm out of space. I'm out of space. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Geez, now I know what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this for so long. But real quick, I think I have a question. Um, oh, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that. How is the house hunting going? It is, goodness. It is, it's not going. I'm trying to be hopeful, just staying positive. I'm not getting too caught up in it. Um, I haven't gotten an email from the realtor in a while. I think he sent me an email like beginning of February, I think, or middle February, with no news. Just sorry, nothing yet. That's one of the things that I was kind of talking about earlier when I was talking about house hunting, is that there doesn't seem to be any availability. It seems here in Poland it's an availability issue. It's like nobody is selling the kind of house that we want um, in the area that we want to live. Like if we're going to live in Poland, we don't want to move away from my wife's mom. Right now she lives like exactly 1 kilometer away, which is a very easy walk. And it's just like down the road that way through the woods, through a little trail, not really woods. Um, so that's the thing. And most, like, there's a lot of people that live in Katowice. I think it's the third largest city in Poland, if I'm not mistaken. And that means there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people here. And so houses aren't really like the common living situation for a lot of people, unless they're relatively wealthy, and we are not. So houses that we would want are kind of out of our price range, but we're looking for something that's, not amazing. We're not looking for an amazing house. We're just looking for something that we're not going to get asbestos poisoning, and it has more than one room so that I can have a studio. That's really all we're looking for. And I don't want it to be an apartment, because as nice as my upstairs neighbor has been this year, for not drilling holes in everything. Oh gosh, I have a story about my upstairs neighbor. Happened this weekend. So yeah, house hunting, not the greatest right now. Do I ever throw stuff away or reorganize? Oh my gosh, absolutely. I notoriously throw things away. It is something. It's almost like a hobby for me. I can assure you. Like hoarders. Hoarders, they don't throw anything away at all. They like just keep everything in their house. Looks like, well, I don't even know how to describe a hoarder house other than describing it as a hoarder house. I am the exact opposite. Like, I am probably unhealthily throwing things away, if that is a possibility. I've always been very, very, very minimalistic. I don't really care to like own stuff. I have never bought a decoration in my life. Never bought a decoration because I don't want them. Like, if I were to if I were to decorate my house, it would have nothing that isn't being used. A dresser isn't decoration. My couch will never have a pillow. I don't find a point in it. That's my level of decoration. So almost like, I don't know, every 2 months or something like that. About every 2 months, I go through stuff and I just throw it away. I don't know, like last month, there was some papers that I was pretty certain I wasn't going to use. So I was like, it's good paper, but I'm not using it, so it's got to go. I'm running out of space. So I can assure you, I reorganize probably every month, and I throw things out about every 2 or 3 months. So, yeah, that's me, and I've always been like that too. Um, one of the things that I've always done, no matter where I lived, especially after I moved out of my parents' house, which was when I was 15. I like to rearrange the furniture, but I can't do it here. There's, I can't move my desk because with the window and with the outlets and just we have one of those radiator heaters like everybody in Poland, and it's very annoying because you can't put anything next to it. And there's really no way to rearrange our bedroom in a way that accommodates what I use my monitor for, because my TV or my monitor here that I use for literally everything is on a stand that I made. I never made a video of it, but I made my monitor stand. I just bought some wood from the store or whatever and built it. And it was one of the very first things that I did when I got here, and I needed to do YouTube. I built this stand just for this monitor, and the benefit of it is that I can move my monitor. So our bed sits over there. I'm not going to turn the camera. Don't be greedy. And so what I do is I just move my stand off of my platform here. And so when we watch a movie, we just use the same monitor. It's hooked up to my computer. My mouse and keyboard are wireless, so I can control it in bed. It's very easy and convenient. So in order to accommodate that, we can't really move anything. Otherwise, we don't have a way to watch TV. So, yeah. And it drives me crazy because I usually would move the furniture and rearrange like my bedroom, living room, and all that stuff. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. It's always been something that's just been a habit. Like, I have to do it. And my wife says that it's probably because of how much I moved growing up. When I was growing up, I moved almost twice a year to a new house. I didn't have like the most stable childhood in the world, and so we were moving a lot, different cities, different houses, sometimes not even houses, and so maybe it's just like this constant need for things to change that has been like ingrained into me. But yeah, can't do that here as much as I'd like to. This all stems from the question on whether or not I organize stuff. I apologize. I recycle stuff on a. It's very easy. Everything here in Poland is recycled. I wish I could sell some stuff. I have some. Well, I have. That kind of brings me to the next thing I really wanted to talk to you guys about. Like I have my old camera. I have my old GoPro, and I have my old camera that I used for live streaming. They're both fine, and I don't know how to sell them in Poland. So if anybody in the chat right now, I have what is the GoPro? I think it's a Hero 3, so it's relatively old. Yeah, so it's a Hero 3 Plus. I mean, I made so many videos with this camera, but it was just time for an upgrade. The battery doesn't really. It would definitely need a new battery if you wanted to like charge it and take it out to do shooting. But if you just keep it plugged in, you can do all the recording that you want. So if anybody in the chat right now is interested in this GoPro, you can email me and I'll give it to you for like, I don't know, $50 or something. I don't even know what it's worth. I'd have to get back to you on that. But and then I have the Canon Legria camera that I used here. I think it was like $300 or something. And I would sell that for $100 all day. So if you're interested, they're there. But that actually brings me to what I forgot I wanted to talk about, and then it was something reminded me. But I have so much artwork, it's nauseating. And like I explained, my drawers are like completely full. I have no room for anything at all, and I've been preparing somewhat to start selling my originals and things on my website, but then it occurred to me that maybe I could try to sell things on eBay, sell my artwork on eBay, because it would just be, I don't know, a little bit more streamlined, I guess, than my website. I don't know exactly. And so I was curious. I wanted to ask you guys this. I wanted to ask, and please, if you're in the chat, if you're listening, give me some kind of answer, some kind of feedback to this. I was thinking, I do these live tutorials and things where I finish a piece like this is the one that I did this past Saturday, and I have all of these projects, and I don't care for them. They just sit in my drawer. I don't put them on display or anything. And I was thinking I could just list them on my website for like a definitive, like buy this for this price kind of thing. And I was thinking, well, maybe an auction would be a little bit better. And I was thinking of putting some of my originals for auction on eBay. And I'm curious if you guys would be interested in buying any of my originals, or Or would you go through eBay? Would you be willing to bid on eBay for my originals? Because I mean, if I don't get like a resounding yes, like I'm probably not going to do it. I'll probably just list them on my website. But I was thinking, it would be kind of cool if I could do these live tutorials or whatnot, and then after I finish the live stream, I could just say, oh, by the way, this original is going to be up on my eBay store. You can bid if you want to buy it, and yeah. So you guys let me know what you think of that idea. Kind of just popped into my head this past week, and I thought I'd give it a try. But I wanted to ask you guys first. So let me know what you think of the idea. Let me know if you would be interested in owning some of my originals, because I have more than I can even remember, and they're not doing any good. They literally just sit in a drawer. I can't put them on my walls. I don't have ways to attach them really to the cement concrete walls with picture frames and stuff. So hanging them here, I'm not interested in doing in the first place, because most of them I'm not fond enough of to hang them. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. If I happen to miss your guys' questions, don't hesitate to ask me again, because sometimes I get sidetracked in my incoherent ramblings. Oh, yes. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, I was going to say something about my neighbor. So, we had, I had taken all the stuff out of my drawer and shoved it into the wardrobe, which is just like in the corner by the door. And I think it was Saturday. My wife and I, we were headed to bed, and there was like this sound, this like, and my wife was standing at the door here, and she was looking, and I was like, what is that sound? And it turns out that our upstairs neighbor had spilled water or something, and it leaked through the ceiling into the wardrobe, and it was dripping down and hitting like the metal rail for the door. And fortunately, it wasn't a lot of water, and it didn't damage anything, because I had put like a bunch of magic cards in there, like $2,000, $3,000 worth of magic cards. So if they got wet, it'd be, pretty bad. But yeah, so we had to go up there, but he didn't answer the door. And then my wife, she went up there like the next day or something to say something, and she saw in his flat, and for the life of her, she can't figure out why there would be water where it was dripping from. But he said he dropped water there, and it made no sense. But I asked her, I was like, did you see the holes? Was he doing renovations? Like, what else was going on? But she had no relevant information, unfortunately. So that's the story. And as of now, we still have no idea what my upstairs neighbor has been building this entire time. Okay, now I need to scroll back through and see your guys' response. Can you change GoPro batteries? Yes, you can. It just pops out. Let's see. Sorry, I'll try to make sure that this is in view a little bit. Oh, it looks pretty good on camera. It looks like garbage in person, but when the screen is there, it looks pretty good. It's coming together. It's starting to look a little shiny. I'm still still scared to death of working on these two parts because it's just like a bunch of straight lines. You think you'd bid on some? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Love the idea. Not a fan of bidding. I honestly have never purchased anything via a bid. Okay. Well, one of the things I know, I haven't been on eBay in a very, very, very long time. I used to sell stuff on eBay when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. Um, it was a lot of fun, but I know that there's a way there you can set up a buy now. So I'm thinking like I could have the paintings, the drawings, whatever, the artwork posted for people to bid on, and then of course a buy now price. Um, though I'm hesitant to do that because if I post it with a buy now price of like 300, then I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that the bids would never go beyond that, where I would prefer them to go beyond that. That's why I'm thinking the bids. I'm glad you guys like the idea of the eBay stuff. I have I have a few other artist friends that sell on eBay, and they seem to do well. I mean, their work almost always sells. I don't know what, I haven't checked the prices or whatnot, but I would be happy to just get rid of some of those pastel paintings at least, because I'm literally just stacking like glassine paper, 3 or 4 pastel paintings, more glassine paper, 3 or 4 more paintings, and it's just getting ridiculous. It's so ridiculous at this point. I haven't really considered Etsy. I don't think Etsy does bidding though. I think Etsy is like a fixed price. And if I'm just doing a fixed price, then I would just sell it on my own website. I don't know if Etsy does bidding though. I could be wrong. Uh, oh, I can assure you that if I post my artwork, I will make sure that everybody on all of my social media knows. Try to get that out as much as possible, because I'd want them to sell. If I'm going to go through the trouble of posting them, I'm going to want them to sell. Oh, hey there, Gabor. Good to see you. Um, how do I post? How do I make my thumbnails appear the complete drawing? So actually, I had that question earlier in the stream. I just do it digitally. I don't. There's not a better answer. I take a picture of a blank piece of paper. I just take a picture of a blank piece of paper and I put whatever I want on that blank piece of paper, and then boom, I have a thumbnail. Um, Good to see you too, Artsy Studios. Does Lisa sell on eBay? I don't know if she does anymore, but I think that she did in the past. I know that she's discussed like the idea of selling on eBay for sure. I just don't know if she does now. I think she does it all on her website. When I sell my artwork, The price that I listed at includes everything. So, like most of my artwork, I don't sell anything for less than $200. And so if I listed something for 200, that includes shipping. I don't do all that separating stuff. The price that you buy it at is the price that you will get it at. So if I just set it up on eBay, there won't be like some secret hidden shipping cost or anything like that. I think it's dumb. It makes things more complicated than it needs to be. I'm willing to pay for the shipping anywhere in the world. Have I considered doing auction on my Facebook page? I didn't even know I could do that. Maybe I'll give that a try. Maybe I'll post a picture, or maybe I'll post an artwork for auction on Facebook. Well, no, I do. If it works well, I'll give it a try before I go over to eBay, because I'd have to set up an eBay page, and I don't know if I'd want to do that. So if I can do it on Facebook, that'd be kind of cool. The thing with Facebook, though, is that the people that like my page don't get to see the post unless I pay Facebook to show the people that like my page my posts. So nobody sees my post. I have like 5,000 people that like my Facebook page, but when I post something, only like 5 people see it, so it's kind of annoying. Oh, thank you, Artsy Studios. Yeah, it's the skirt is coming along pretty nicely. I really like the colors. Like, I don't normally work with like bright, oversaturated colors, but this subject just it forces me to. It's kind of nice to get out of my comfort zone every once in a while. Would that include framed? No, it would not. I don't know of any place around here that does frames. And shipping it with a frame would cost a significant amount more. I know that. So I had mentioned this like a long time ago. When I was back in the States in October, I built a custom picture frame for my oil painting. And the reason I'm just gesturing over there is because the oil painting is sitting right there. And I went to ship it before we were on our way back, because I was just going to ship it. I was like, it's just a picture frame. It doesn't weigh that heavy. It doesn't weigh that much. And so I went into UPS, I think, or something, and they were going to charge me $700. So they were going to charge me $700 to ship a picture frame. And I was like, I'll take it on the plane with me. And that's what I did. Instead, I had to pay $40 to bring it on the plane with me. So not going to be shipping picture frames. And besides, do you want me picking your picture frame? I mean, I don't know what stuff you have in your house. What if I were to pick like a black frame and all your other picture frames have natural wood frames? It doesn't seem like the right idea. I'll have to check out the Facebook thing with selling through Facebook. I'll have to look into that. So I'm looking for a color right now. Ah, gosh, I need to do these bits here. Time for the bravery test. You gotta use like the lightest touch in the world to get a thin line with these brush tip copic markers. Yeah, when I took the picture frame into UPS, and the lady weighed it, and I gave her the little paper, the shipping information paper or whatever it's called, and apparently there is a city there's a city in Ohio called Poland, and she was looking for the city of Poland in Ohio. And then I was like, it's a country. and she couldn't find, I don't know, she couldn't find something. But then when she actually put in the correct country, and she found the address or whatever, she turned to me and my wife and said, "You might want to sit down for this." And then she was like, "It's gonna be like 740 something." And I looked at her. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Is that how it's going to be everywhere?" Because I think it was UPS. I don't remember which logistics place it was. But she said, no, it's going to be that price pretty much everywhere. And we were on our way to the airport. So there wasn't time to like fiddle around with another location. And my brother had to get to work, and he was driving us, and we still had like an hour or something before we got to the airport. So we just scratched that idea and took it on the plane, which turned out fine. But I definitely wasn't expecting that. Not that high of a price. Why did I draw this? I drew this because it intrigued me, which is essentially the only reason I draw anything at all, ever. I don't know what I was doing. I was scrolling around Reddit, which I never do, and there was somebody that had posted something about doing a holographic material study, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And they had done like a pair of pants and a shirt, I think. I don't even remember exactly what it looks like. But it was essentially this color scheme, maybe a little bit different. They did it digitally, though. They weren't doing traditional medium. They had a digital drawing. And I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I'd never thought of doing clothing that had that kind of look to it. And I've never colored anything that looks like this before. And so I was like, oh, that seems kind of fun. And so I scoured the internet for what I thought looked kind of cool. Came across a picture of a skirt, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And here we are. And here it is. I don't I don't think I don't think the chisel tip is going to be good for thin lines, uh, because the ink will come out so fast. Wait a minute. That's actually quite thin. It pools a little bit, but yeah, it does actually work. Huh. Thank you, Gobbler. Well, I guess I can put that other cap back on. I'll give it a true test right here. Yeah, that's actually working out quite nicely. That's very thin. I mean, you still have to like use a very extremely soft touch, but it's actually easier. It's actually easier. All right, well, I learned something new today. Thin lines are possible with the chisel tip. Very cool. I need a darker blue. Oh, hey there, Tatiana. Been a while. Good to see you. The chisel tip just became my favorite. It's a life changer right here. That chisel tip. I'm using it on the long end. Kind of like on the long end, but tilted up so it's more like the corner. You know, it's kind of a funny feeling, um, when I'm sitting here drawing and I have like a million things that I feel like I can talk about, and then all of a sudden I feel like I have nothing to talk about, and I look up and I don't see like the chat rolling along with like different things to talk about, and so I kind of go quiet. It makes me feel like you guys went quiet too. Like we were actually having a conversation and I could hear you talking, yet you're not. You never were. It makes it feel like the room got really quiet. Like nobody's talking. Awkward silence. Oh, you want to know what I finally got back into? Is reading manga. man, it has been so long since I read a manga book, but oh gosh, it feels so good. I have them on my I have them on my iPad. It's like the one thing I use my iPad for now. I literally don't use it for anything. It barely works at this point. It's so old. Um, but yeah, I got some of the old manga books that I used to read, but I never actually got to finish, and they're like fully complete now. Like the series is over, and so I got a couple. I got my my very first manga book that I ever bought was a book called Kyo Samurai Deeper, and it's this story about this samurai demon. I guess they always call him Demon Eyes. I don't know. I don't think he's actually a demon, but he it's kind of like borderline personality disorder because there's two people living in the same body. You have Kyo and you have Kyoshiro, and they just like kind of battle over who controls the body, and they're trying to like recover Kyo's body. Gosh, it sounds so dumb when I'm trying to explain it, but it's a fun story. It's interesting and it's pretty comedic. It has some comedic aspects to it with just the goofiness of some of the characters and the weird dialogue. It's a good cheesy in my opinion. Maybe it's a bit of nostalgia because it's been over a decade, which is kind of scary to think about. But yeah, so I'm reading that one right now. I want to read through the whole thing, but I also have Initial D. Initial D was one of the manga books that I came across in the library, my local library, when I was just too cheap to buy new ones. But they only had like 10 volumes or something like that. And if you've never read a manga book, it takes about an hour to read a single volume. They're very easy to read, extremely easy to read, and so it doesn't take long to read 10 volumes, especially if you do nothing but just sit there and read them, which is what I did in high school. As soon as I discovered them. So yeah, that's something. No, we're not moving. We'd like to move. I missed your question, Sally. I apologize, but we would like to move. We just haven't found a house yet. We want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. My wife, I don't know if she really cares to buy a house, but I want to buy a house. She probably wants to buy a house so that I can stop complaining about this flat. Although I do love living here. It's very cozy, I guess. It's a good size for somebody that never wants to have kids or pets. But don't tell my wife this, but I've actually been kind of considering the idea of having kids. But it's still a no. It's just a really soft no at this point, I guess. My sister, as I've shared before, she's about to have a kid, and I'm going to be visiting for that, going back to the United States fairly soon for that child's birth. My cousin just announced her third kid is going to be born this winter. I think October, she said. So Do I play any instruments? I would love to if I had room to store them. I have a couple. I have a couple of my songs on my channel here. They're way back in the day, when I first started my YouTube channel. I lived in Everett at the time, Everett, Washington, and yeah. So I have some. I had a lot of guitar stuff, and I loved playing guitar and I loved writing music. But life doesn't care what you like to do. It puts you in flats that are too small to buy instruments. I don't know if my neighbors would appreciate it either. I mean, I know that most of you know the kind of music that I like to listen to, and I can't imagine my neighbors would be too enthusiastic about me writing music, or playing it at the volume that I'd want to listen to it. I probably already torture them somewhat, but Poles aren't really confrontational in the way that they would knock on my door and ask me to turn my music down. One day, I was in the kitchen cleaning, and I was like, oh, I need to take this trash out, and had my music playing, and I walked out the door and started to walk down the stairs, and I was like, I can still clearly hear my music. So I ran back into my flat and I turned it down. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even at like an abnormally high volume. It was this is the volume I listen to my music kind of volume. And I was like, maybe my neighbors can hear this. I mean, all of our walls are concrete, but I can hear when my neighbor over here sneezes, which doesn't make any sense at all. Well, actually, I would love to adopt a dog from a shelter. My neighbors, they have families, okay? They have families and they have pets. And I look at our flat and I'm like, how on earth? Where do you put these people and animals? Like, where do you put them? Because the flats are the same. They're just beside each other. Ours isn't like abnormally small. It's the same size as everybody else's. So in my mind, it's like, what? How do you have families, okay? If I had anybody other than my wife living with me, I would go crazy. I would go crazy. And if we had a pet, I'd still go crazy. Unless it was like a snake or something, or a fish, you know, where they just sit there. But I mean, like a dog running around, I'd love to have a dog, but yeah, not in this situation. Not in this situation, no. But if we do get a dog, it's definitely going to be not from a breeder, because there's no need. Have I considered renting a second apartment? Yes, actually I have. I talked to my wife about it. Not necessarily a second apartment, but wrong color. A studio space. I told her, I was like, you know, it would, if we can't find a house, like I need a studio space. Like that's kind of the biggest problem right now, is that we just kind of, that I have ran out of room. My wife is teeny tiny, and I don't think there's a small enough space in the world for her to run out of room. But for me, I've outgrown this space, and I'm just one of those people that constantly needs change, or I go crazy. My sister, Cece, she is exactly the same. We need change in our lives on a regular basis, or the people we care about suffer. And so that was kind of a very brief topic. But the thing is, renting is the greatest source of wasting your time because you gain nothing from it. I'm sick of renting. Like, I want to own. Renting is not financially wise. And it goes against everything that I live by, essentially, when it comes to finances. Because I'm very financially practical. So I'm well aware of my budget. I know how to save money. I invest money. I mean, I have been saying since I was like 19, 20 years old that I am going to retire at the age of 40. I will retire at the age of 40. That has been my mantra pretty much for the past decade. And renting is not a feasible option when that is your goal. Because you could just as easily be paying a mortgage for about the same price you pay for rent, but you sacrifice convenience, because obviously the location of apartments for the price range of your budget is much more convenient than a house that's going to probably be a little bit further outside the city limits and something like that. So, I mean, I was looking at houses in my home city or my home area back in Ohio near my family, and I was seeing, I figured my budget was right around like 150, 200,000. And so I was just like kind of looking and in that price range. And then, you know, a lot of those websites have like the mortgage calculator or whatnot. Like what would, you know, if you got a loan for 15 years or 30 years or whatever the heck it is, like what would your monthly payments be roundabout? And for like 140,000, I think it was like, it wasn't even $600 a month. And I was like, that can't be right. But apparently it is. So in actuality, I could probably do more than that. But that's also taken into account. That's also not taking into account your credit score and all of that stuff. So I could probably I would get the lowest possible interest rate achievable on a mortgage because my credit score is literally almost maxed out. The little thing only goes up to 800 on whatever it is, and it's like 782 the last time I checked. So it's I'm not concerned about the credit side of things. So I don't really know what my true budget is, but I know what I want to keep it at because I don't need anything beyond it. Oh, have I been? Wow, I have been streaming for that long. Goodness, I had no idea. I assumed that I was going to be streaming a little bit longer today because I was just so in the mood. And I'm having a lot of fun with this little skirt thingy. I'll probably work on it next week too. But I've just been having a good, fun conversation with all of you. Talking about all kinds of stuff that I've been wanting to talk about for some time now. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed the live stream up to this point. I'm not done. I'm not jumping off here, so don't click away. So yeah, if you are liking the live stream, then make sure you don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, since it's been so long since I've mentioned it, in the video description there is a link to my new merchandise. I feel really weird saying merch, okay? It makes me feel way too much like a YouTuber. So I have to say merchandise. And then that makes me feel weird because it makes me feel like a weird salesman in like a department store or something, and I just don't like it. So I need a new name. My stuff, that sounds terrible. I need a better name for it. Merch makes me feel like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, and that's the furthest thing from what I want to feel like. Next thing, I just feel like if I start saying merch, I'm gonna start saying smash that like button. And if I ever start saying that, I want all of you to unsubscribe and let me know I'm doing something wrong. Don't ever let me get there. Oh my gosh. I can't do that. Cannot do that. I don't hold it against anybody. I don't. Even I'm subscribed to PewDiePie. But it's not me. It's not in my personality, and I can't fake it. I can't even pretend that I'm that type of person. Yes, these are Copic markers. Do fashion drawing series. Oh yeah, I don't know about a full series, but it's been a while since I've created a character. I have a sketch. I have a sketch that, hopefully this doesn't break my computer opening it. It's quite large. Yeah, I haven't worked on it in some time. Looks pretty nice. It was a sketch that I started forever ago, just doodling about because I wanted to redo a character that I had done previously, and I just never actually got to finishing it. Maybe I can finish it, and then I can give her a really cool holographic skirt. Because what would be the point of doing a study if you never use it, right? Says the guy with a degree in mathematics and is a YouTube artist. Almost couldn't get further away from my degree. It's almost like I resent what I went to college for. Nah, I still love math. I swear. Products. I like the products. I like products. Any advice for people starting with markers? Yes. I'm wondering if anybody can beat me to my answer, but it's not markers. But if you're getting started with markers and you don't have a color chart, you're already failing. I cannot stress the benefit of color charts more. There's a reason I have 500 squares, more than 500 squares. I mean, there's 500 squares right there. Like 4,000 squares hanging beside me of color. And I have 2 that are markers. I have 1 acrylic paint. I have 4 colored pencils, and I have 1 pastel. Yeah, lots and lots of color charts. Definitely worth doing. They take time, but goodness gracious, they are so worth it, because I mean, if you've caught me looking over here throughout this stream, what I'm doing is I'm looking at my color chart, and then I have my markers perfectly in order based on my color chart. So I can just grab it, and I can just look, oh, I need that color right there, and then I grab it. So it's, you spend a lot of time making color charts, but goodness gracious, the time they save you is just unfathomable. You cannot beat it. They're so helpful. You know, another thing, like with markers, that's overlooked. It's severely overlooked. The importance of layers. Layers are probably the most overlooked aspect of markers, because people think like, oh, I apply this marker, that's it. But in reality, with the alcohol-based markers, copic in particular, blending is kind of blending is more about layers than it is about like actually like bleeding the colors together. It's more about the layering process and a lot less about like, making the paper like super wet with the marker ink and all of that. So that would be the two biggest things that I would say you're going to want to focus on with markers. Blending is an illusion created by layers, not by completely oversaturating the paper with ink. So there's the two tips I can give you when it comes to markers. Haven't seen the acrylic chart. It's there. I don't ever use it because I hate acrylic paint. I have oil paint now, so the acrylic paint is dead to me. I bought a little set of acrylic paint. I did a couple videos, absolutely despised them, and then didn't do any painting for like a really long time, and then I got my oil paint. If I have acrylic, if I have oil paint, acrylic is dead to me. It's not a medium I'm even remotely interested in. If I had the if I wasn't so focused on teaching, I love teaching. It's a huge part of why I like to create and why I have a YouTube channel and how I make a living, a bunch of other stuff. It would be just great to make a living painting in oil. But I kind of like to leave the oil to the non-working side of what I do, because pastels are a lot of fun. I love working with them and all of that. But sometimes I get a little frustrated with how much of what I create just becomes work. And I feel like oil gives me that balance that I need, where I can just do it for myself. I don't need to, try to finish a project in a certain time or do a commission or anything like that. It's kind of like my escape medium. It's my favorite, and I want to keep it that way, so maybe I won't ever do any tutorials or anything like that. I'll do projects, and I already have the next oil painting idea. I already have it, but I'm not starting it. I refuse to start it until that one's done. I'm going to need to build a second frame, but yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. You could probably just stop listening to me. just rambling. Anyways, do you guys have any questions about other stuff? I didn't miss if I missed your question, let me know. Ask it again. Hey Cece, did you get that message? Arch Echo released a music video a couple days ago. It's pretty good, pretty cool song. You know, I'm checking my email right now, and you know what? Pretty disappointed because I don't see any t-shirts sold. How can I motivate you guys to buy a shirt right now? What can I give you? What do I need to give you? I have something here. I have this folder of old prints. I have all of these prints that are doing nothing. I have nothing to do with these prints. The next person to buy a shirt, I get an email. The next person to buy a shirt will get one of every single one of these prints. Is that enough to motivate? Give us money. Is that well, me, I can't print money, but I can print some of my artwork. So that's what I'll do. If the next person, now I don't do the shipping for Redbubble. So the shirt will probably get there before the print does. But I can't send these. I don't have envelopes that big. But I have all of these. That's not a print for sale. That was a gift. But I have all of these. Just some pumpkin. I got my owl eyes. I got my fox. That's a favorite of many. The deer that nobody watches. The safari landscape. The VR goggle one. I even have a baby Groot. Got a couple baby Groots in here. Fall landscape. Tower of Sophistication. Yeah. That's what I got. I will... Let's see. Yeah, so the next person... The next 3... I don't know. Let's go with the next 3 people. Maybe 4. If that many people buy something. We'll get one of every single one of these prints. I'll just send it to you as a thank you. I mean, the money that I'll make from you buying a single shirt will only cover the shipping for these. So literally I won't make any money, but at least you'll have a shirt and some artwork, right? I need to do something with these prints. I'd rather give it to you guys than throw them away. So now I have them all out and stuff. See what you guys do to me? I'm just gonna, just stay there. I think the marker side of this is almost done. This skirt here. The new stuff is up online. What new stuff? It's stuff, the logos and stuff. I don't know what you're referring to, Cece. Sally, the slug shirt is I love slugs. The slug takes the replaces the heart. You know, there's like shirts all over that just say I heart stuff, but instead of a heart, it's a slug. So I love slugs. Yeah, the link is in the description, Cece. But I can't send you prints because you have them all already. I think some of my marker splattered onto my paper here a little bit. Can you see those little spots? All right, let's see here. I know I got some more coloring I need to do. I need another blue. Yeah, it's we love slugs. We love slugs. You got little Nugget here. Nobody is gonna hurt little Nugget. I didn't anticipate anybody interpreting the shirt the way that you did, Sally. Kind of makes me laugh a little bit. But we all love slugs. Especially little Nugget. Helen, you bought a shirt? Let me check. I'm gonna go to my email now. Oh, yep. I see it. All right. Let me see what information it gives me. I don't think that I get, since it's through like a third person website. Yeah, so it doesn't even show me, it doesn't show me your name. So here's what I need you guys to do. Once you buy a shirt or whatnot, send me an email. Okay, you guys know my email. I'll put it in the chat really quick. So there's my email address. Just send me a quick email with your address and I will send you prints. Thank you so much, Helen. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, Kenny, you have a good night. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. I'm probably going to do just a little bit more color here and then I'm going to call it a day. So make sure you buy your shirts real quickly, and don't forget to email me. Do not forget to email me, okay? Because like I said, I just checked. I checked the email that I get from Redbubble when it says that you buy a T-shirt, and it doesn't show me your name. So everything on that side is completely hidden. So you have to send me an email so I can send the prints to you. Okay. You can also message me on Facebook if you find that to be easier. Whatever's easiest. Just make sure you message me because I want to make sure that you get the prints. I want to make sure that I send them out to the right people and all of that. So. And I actually have to, I have to get some more prints made, and I'll probably do that this week. And so the prints that you saw, you're gonna get even some new ones, I think, because I'll just get a few extra ones made and I'll send those out as well. So you get a whole bunch of prints. It's the thought that counts, Debbie. I appreciate it. I understand. No apologies needed from anybody. I gotta do another giveaway sometime soon too. Because last year I did the coloring competition, and that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the coloring competition and seeing everybody's entries and all of that. So I gotta do another coloring competition. Do I mind sharing who does the printing? Oh, it's just a local shop here in Poland. They don't even speak English. It's always very hard for me to go in there and get prints, but it's good quality. Yeah, it's good quality. This is a gloss one. I'm not a fan of the gloss ones. This is the matte one, and I mean it's really sharp. One of the things, like the colors are not. Sometimes I have to rebalance the colors because they're not the most accurate. Sometimes they're a little oversaturated. I think. Yeah, I don't really have any bad examples. I would say maybe a little bit of oversaturation on this print, but it still came out really nice. Still like really clean lines and all of that. But yeah, I just get it from a local print shop. They do a nice job, and they're quick. They're super quick. Like one day I walked in there and I got like, how many prints was it? It was upwards of like 110 prints or something, and they did it in like 25 minutes. Like they just said, come back in 25 minutes or whatever, and I had like a whole stack of them. Yeah, color balancing your monitor is really, really important. That's something that I've done several times because it changes as your monitors get older. They color changes a little bit, so you have to do it, like once a year. Especially if you use your monitor as much as I use mine. I mean, this monitor probably no. This monitor straight up needs replaced. There's just no question about it. But I'm not interested in replacing it until I buy a house. All right, well, I think I'm done here for today. I'm not calling it done because I'm going to use colored pencils to really get in there and do some details and make the colors blend together a little bit better. But for markers, I am really happy with the way that it's coming together. I have to go darker once I really get in there and like get the darkest shadows as dark as they're supposed to be. Then all the highlights will really pop out and look a lot nicer. So I'm gonna save this for next week's drawing journal, and yeah, I think that's gonna just be it for today. Tomorrow I'll be streaming over on Patreon. If you're not already a Patreon, hopefully you can be soon. Wednesday I will have a video uploaded. It's already scheduled. That's how I spent my weekend. And then Thursday is another Patreon stream, and before we know it, we have another weekend where I'll say that I don't work on weekends and spend the whole weekend working. But again, thank you guys so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And thank you so much for buying the shirts. Really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to email me, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.